Down in the art hallway because the arts hallway is actually one of the only hallways that doesn't have a mural, ironically. So yeah, we're working on that right now. And then I do have another announcement. I'm going to kind of switch gears for that one. I'm going to take the podium, I think. Yeah. All right. Hello, my name is Madeline Bernal. If you've attended a board meeting before, you've likely seen me. But for everyone who may not know, I am a senior class school board representative. I have attended nearly every school board meeting for the past 2 years, and it is my job to update the board on how students feel, what we do, what we want to see, and where we're going. And I feel that I need to speak today on behalf of my fellow students, because over the past few meetings, I have heard lots of voices, and with the exception of today, not a single one has been a student's. I think that everyone here can agree on one thing. Everything discussed in this room should be for the good of our students, for the betterment of their education. Yet, this year, I have witnessed the very people who are most fundamental in our educational journeys being attacked for wearing an equality badge. I will say this very clearly so that my words are not mistaken. The equality badges are important. They are needed, and they improve our school's atmosphere. As a student, I walk these halls. As a senior, I have spent the past 4 years in those halls. I know a majority of the student body, and at least 30% by name, which probably is quite a lot more than anyone in the audience, aside from staff, can say, of course at no fault of your own. But the point is, this is my school, and I know students who are gay, transgender, who have been sexually harassed, struggle with depression, and are looking for a support system regardless of their identity. Teachers, for many students, are fundamental role models, and for some students, teachers may be the only role models in that child's life. And knowing that a role model supports you regardless of your skin color, regardless of your disability, sexuality, gender, mental health status is huge. Support and compassion are not inherent, as some have argued. I have heard and listened to the argument that we don't need to promote equality because We have never had a disparity in our school, but that is untrue. And quite frankly, even if it were true, why not showcase the equality that we have achieved? What is the harm in supporting students with a visual icon that is easily recognizable to those who may need support most? By having adults who make children feel safe, especially when safety may not exist at home, we are keeping kids in school, in a better state of mental and physical health, and alive. It is hard to judge by the looks of someone whether or not they outwardly support all of these icons on the badge, and even if all of our teachers do support all of those icons, seeing that icon is a confirmation for students who are looking for it, that they have found a safe space where they are valued. I have not heard or read a single argument on this topic stating that gay is bad. In fact, I've seen quite a lot of dancing around the word gay and the acronym LGBTQ. So I've inferred that the issue may not be with the handicap symbol on the badge, because if that were the case, there would probably be an uproar about that symbol painted on the parking lot spaces. The issue seems to be with the pride flags, Black Lives Matter fist, and the symbols that these equality badges represent. And this apprehension may be because those who are against it don't realize how much that representation and acceptance means to my fellow students. I have friends who are gay, and a handful of them don't feel safe to tell their parents, but at school they have found spaces where they can be their authentic selves. As long as they're happy and alive, why should we shy away from showing them support? There is no harm in visually and outwardly representing and showing support for them. I've heard the comment, why do we need safe badges when have we ever not been safe? Right now. We are not safe right now. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among the youth, according to Michigan.gov. Statistics from 2017 show that for nearly 10 years, Michigan youth suicide rates rode above the national average, with youth identifying as LGBTQ, male, and people of color being the most affected. Representation and outward support keep students alive, keep students safe, and they are important. The equality badges are a fundamental step towards equality in the education system.
And with that, we begin the show.
Unmuting.
I guess I didn't
tonight,
unmute.
everybody.
I didn't take my own clue.
I was
did
about to say, that's hilarious. 'cause you
It's
didn't
just,
take
you
your
know,
own advice.
yeah. Just the story for our night so far, right? Getting started
Yeah,
off.
all the tech issues, they're all on my end.
all the tech issues tonight. It was a wild
Yeah.
one, but thank you for joining us. If you've joined us before, thank you for your time and feedback, and welcome. If you are new here, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, share, and let us know your thoughts as we carry on in the comments section. Also react. If you guys don't react, if you don't comment, things like that, we're not going to show up on your feed, so you're not going to know all these crazy things when we run late, or if breaking news comes out. We want to be in your lithogram. So comment, like, share, subscribe if you're politically inclined to do so. We want to hear your voice. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know if you feel like we're off. If what we're saying is a bunch of crap, we want to hear it one way
we like
or the other.
live corrections.
Live corrections and decorum. So let us
If
know.
you're watching because you know about a story we're going to talk about and you have something to share. If you don't want to do it publicly, message one of us. We will get it in our Facebook feeds, or message the group completely, and we will post your comment anonymously.
Greg,
Caitlin's up. Man, last week she had to be out because she was playing a superhero.
Well, that, and we canceled a show, and then we decided to have a show. So, she just kind of got forced out of that one because she made other plans, and they were good things. She was helping with the family that had a fire recently and doing some things there for them. So that was pretty cool of her. We appreciate Caitlin. We miss her. Tonight's her night off. We'll see her next week. So she'll be back. If you're a fan of Caitlin, say, hey, what's up, Caitlin? Let her know that you're thinking about her. And again, we'll see her next week. So, guys, how are you? How are you enjoying this warmer weather?
Yeah,
that was nice.
I'm enjoying the warmer weather, but I think I'm in the same boat as you, because I saw a Facebook post you did, and I felt it in my soul, just waiting for my grass that I just spent way too much money on to water every day, trying to get it to grow.
Yeah, you got to keep it wet out here in Southwest Kansas, which is a hard thing to do because of the dry weather, and The wind. The wind is absolutely brutal. I do want to give a shout out to Bruce Quinones, local tattooed artist. Hey, Megan, how are you?
Hey, Megan.
Dropped a link or mentioned that you should germinate your grass seeds in a wheelbarrow. So I looked it up on YouTube and I found, a 5-gallon bucket thing where you soak your seeds in water for a couple of days. And then you mix it with your startup fertilizer, no salt. You don't want to have a herbicide in it, but then you spread it that way, and it increases the process, relatively quickly. This guy had 1-inch grass in 7 days, which it typically takes 8 to 10 days, 8 to 14 days for a grass seed to really germinate and get going. Sometimes 30 days, depending on how warm the soil is. But if you want.
Or if there's
grass
a cold
and
snap in the
landscaping
middle
tips.
right after you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I did. That's what we did.
That's what I did too. I think we did at the same time.
Yeah, we did. So
what's the saying out here? Don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. So we've got events coming up for this week. But before we go to events, we want to give a shout out to Dude Smell This LLC, located at 920 East Grand, Hayesville, Kansas, 67060. Give them a call, 316-315-4620, or visit them online at dudesmellthisllc.com. We want to thank them for sponsoring our local events this week. Dude Smell This has all the CBD items that you need for purchasing to help with relaxation, soreness.
100% legal.
All 100% legal. All the good. It's a Kansas company. So support them. They support us. They support our community. Check them out online again at dudesmellthisllc.com, or give them a call at 316-351-4620. Dudesmellthis.com. Whitney, what do we have coming up this week?
Looks like we got the Swing into Spring Vendors Expo, April 15th and 16th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Hosted at and by the American Legion on 405 Main Street there. So
yeah, that should be fun.
Absolutely. So, they got small businesses, direct sales, crafters.
Yeah.
If you are a vendor and would like to set up a booth down there, you can see on the flyer, contact Yolanda at the phone number listed, 521-2186. This is going to be a great time. Show up and show out for Garden City. What's coming up this Saturday?
A good group, that's something worth supporting. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you can't mention the American Legion without the old building, I don't think. And all the restaurants that have been there and the updates to it and how awesome that is. But, Casa Mariachis is there now. Excellent food. Go check it out. Anyway, what's going on this Saturday?
We got our legislative coffee again. One of my favorite events in town. I don't know how much everybody wants me going, but I'll be there always. But please, if you're a supporter of the show, if you're a supporter of local politics and you have an opinion that might be different than the average voice in the room, that's probably why you're watching this show. And your voices need to be heard. It needs to be more than just the same right wing, and not even just right wing, but like the extreme right, the people that care what bathroom you use, and the people that are pushing these transgender laws and whatnot. I don't know why they care so much about these things, but they are the ones going to these events, and voices like ours become silent because they're not present. Yeah. So 10 a.m.
Can't be bullied
also,
out.
They serve a great breakfast. If you've never been, they have a whole buffet spread of an amazing breakfast provided by the hospital. 10 a.m. this Saturday. Let's go. I want to see more than just me there.
Yeah, it's a lively event. A couple of years ago, pre-COVID, there wasn't very many people that would show up to these things, and they're just blowing up now. I don't think there's an empty seat.
It is a full room. It is absolutely a full room.
Yeah.
So there's lots of people who care about this, but we need a variety of voices.
We had a debate earlier tonight if this next topic was an event or a happening or a segment.
Kind of a halfway.
We've been talking at the show about we want to be able to talk about positive things. Everything that we seem to talk about is negative, and that's not, exactly everything that we want to do. Yeah, we want to talk about all the good stuff too. So, the former Sears building is finally getting a new tenant. They're in the comment section. Kohl's is coming in. They're going to take half of the building, I believe. And I've heard rumors that Burlington Coat Factory maybe, I don't know, a couple other things may split the building with Kohl's. So it's going to be a newer concept style store in the Sears building, which is great. So they are looking for store managers.
Go apply.
Yeah.
More jobs.
Yeah, more jobs. We lost JCPenney, so this is a really good replacement for that, I think, as far as the box stores go here in Garden City.
Right niche.
I'm old enough.
Yeah,
I'm old enough to say I remember when that was Walmart.
Oh yeah, me too. I remember exactly where the toy aisle was too, because I was that old when that Walmart was there.
I think I'm the only transplant. I was not here then.
My kids will say. My kids will have to say, I remember when this was Spirit Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Which I hope they find a new home here in Garden City too. Spirit Halloween. You don't want to push those people off.
This isn't doing very much right now.
Yeah, Spirit Halloween.
That's
Ollie's.
Yeah,
Ollie's is there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's other smaller stores.
I never saw an Ollie's until that came here, and I was actually kind of excited when I went in. I was like, "Oh, this stuff's cheap."
You don't know what you're going in for, but you're leaving with stuff.
Exactly. Yes. I have a Transformers little Dewey on my wall back there.
All right. So again, events are brought to you by Dude Smell This LLC. Visit them online, dudesmelllthisllc.com. Located in Hayesville, Kansas. Give them a call if you have any questions about CBD oils, candies, gummies, drinks.
Stressful. Get some CBD. Relax a little bit.
Oils. They've got it all. And I think they even have some for animals as well to help them relax with things. So, check them out. Lotions. They help a lot of people. dudesmelllthisllc.com.
And that leads us to our first commercial.
All right, visit Smith Auto and Truck Parts at 402 East Burnside in Garden City for all your vehicle part needs. They offer a wide variety of engines, transmissions, axles, used tires, mirrors, rims, door glass, and more. Find out what you need for your daily driver or your project vehicle by visiting smithauto-truck.com or by calling 620-275-9145. Used doesn't mean used up.
All right, so first story of the night. Laura Kelly made a very rare visit to Western Kansas. And when I say Western Kansas, I don't mean Hutchinson. I don't mean Hayes. I mean Hugoton. I mean Dodge City, Kansas. I mean Garden City, Kansas. She did a round in Western Kansas. Nice. And I will commend where things need commended.
Was it advertised? I don't even think it was advertised. I had no
idea until I had a person who works for the school district shoot me a message showing me the screenshots. I think I put some of those into the
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So yeah, there she is.
So she was attended with Mr. Dominguez here.
John. Yep.
And then we got John Dahl on the other side. And Clifford was there. And
Bob Lewis.
Bob
who
Lewis. Which
we do want to... Go ahead.
I just want to use this moment to remind Bob Lewis, you have not responded to confirm that you will be joining us next week. You did say that you were willing to join this month, and I haven't heard back from you. So if you're watching tonight, hit me back.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't want to take away from Laura Kelly being here in town, but I think it's funny. He confirmed. I do want to make mention of it. He confirmed to be on this show and has not responded to us after his confirmation. So we're planning on Representative Bob Lewis being here next week.
As far as I know, he's still coming.
Us.
And that confirmation text, buddy.
Yeah, and we've set him out the itinerary for the evening, and we have not heard a response back. So we're just letting our audience know now that we will be advertising heavily Bob Lewis for this next show. But,
anyway, so Laura Kelly visited USD 457 today. Mm-hmm. The district, she wanted to discuss the Teacher's Apprentice program, which is a program that I understand Dr. Carlin started before.
Dr. Carlin and Glinda. Yeah, that would be their
like
so
back in 2019.
Very interesting that she's here to represent the program of the people we pushed out. The program was started in 2019 with the intent to recruit, train locals to be teachers in the area where there are dozens of open teacher positions and continue to be. The Teacher Apprentice program is the first of its kind in Kansas. The apprenticeship participants can enter the program with only a high school diploma or GED. They work as a paraprofessional while completing coursework from both Garden City Community College and Wichita State University. Some participants come right out of high school, but many join as their second career in their 30s and 40s. 28 total participants have started the program, and so far 9 have finished and are employed as teachers.
Yeah, and if anybody is in the know, put in the chat. I'm pretty sure this is different program from the transition to teaching program, because I think the transition to teaching program, you have to have like a bachelor's, and I think that's like state organized and stuff. So this is something wholly new that they did. And if anybody has more accurate information on that, throw it in the chat.
Which is absolutely something that we need here in Garden City with everything that's going on. There is a massive teacher shortage in the state of Kansas, and we got a taste of it last week. We did some reporting, which we'll talk a little bit more about that later on.
We'll update a little
in the show. But moving on, elsewhere in Kansas, a lot of things got passed overnight.
Yeah, well, did they give themselves a raise or something?
Yeah, we got pay raises and some weird tax stuff, and
they passed it at like 11 p.m. when nobody was paying attention, and
they worked through to like 4 a.m. It was the last day of the session, and they rushed. They spent so much time on 5% of our population in the state of Kansas, even more so just 1% of that targeted 5% audience, that all these things got pushed to this one evening. And go ahead, Whitney.
Oh, yeah, and the thing is, they're pushing all this stuff, going after this trend. Basically, it's the transgender legislation, which right now there's 13 bills. 2 of them have passed. One passed and then got vetoed, and then got overrun with the veto by Dahl himself. I did not see Wheeler Clifford in the votes, which I always confuse when I don't see.
Wheeler's not in anymore. It's Bob Lewis.
It's
Lewis.
Bob Lewis.
Bob Lewis. Okay.
Right.
Then the county needs to update all their information, because they have him listed as a House representative.
They still have John Wheeler as our House rep on the website.
Yes, they have.
That is bold of you to assume we have a functioning government here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed or not, but we still have Troy Unruh up there.
On any of this stuff, I did not see a vote from Bob, and it's weird. Sometimes they get to vote.
Well, we know what Bob voted for.
We know what he voted for. Clifford has basically been voting all the anti-LGBTQ things. He voted. which one was this? He voted on 180, which 180 is the Women's Bill of Rights, which basically is they can't go to the bathroom. That's what it comes down to.
Okay, so you know what bothers me most about that is when you have a transgender man that looks a lot like I do, or you do, or Zach does, and they walk into the bathroom, a female bathroom now because they have to. How uncomfortable does that make the women in that room?
Yeah,
more so than the person, you know. So I mean, it goes both ways. You know, I think the biggest thing that stood out was in House Bill 2238 was the genital inspections.
That's
you know
There's something else in SB 180 that's hidden, but we'll talk about that here in a second. Go on to the genital inspection.
How long is it going to be before some guy, a parent or a coach from Timbuktu comes out and says her shoulders are too broad?
Yeah.
I want her genitals inspected to make sure she's a female because her shoulders are too broad. And what Trumper is going to allow their daughter to have their genitals inspected on site by what father? Anybody?
It's so ill-defined. They don't even say who's doing it, how's it doing it. Like they're not even mentioning medical professionals or anything. It's just people look at it. It makes no sense. And the thing is, I actually looked through and I looked at the proponents and opponents that talked about it. The only proponents for it are all religious based. And there were 5 times as many all professionals, all educators, all psychologists, all medical professionals, all against the bill. The only ones that were for it were religiously tied organizations.
Yeah, and we spent entirely too much time on it, and we're I think spending too much.
And here we go. What protection is there for students to not just be called out for any reason? Like
that's exactly right, Shannon. And I think it hurts kids. It hurts the team. It hurts everything about it is just horrible. It's asking a lot. We're putting our kids through more crap with this.
Yeah, speaking of the suicide rates that one student in Michigan was looking at, I actually looked up the suicide numbers, and these types of things are going to cause more because these kids feel like they're attacked even more. And Kansas has been bad. I'll show the numbers right here.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, a female gets called out to be a male, and she is a biological female.
And then that makes her feel.
What's that do to her self-esteem?
Exactly. Like.
Yeah. We are putting way too much on children.
Like, we've had a 60% increase in Kansas. The top bar is the big dark one that's above the national average. The light one is the national average. We've been jumping up, and we don't have new data because they do it every 4 years. And that student that was complaining in Michigan's at 14.7 per 100,000 for child suicide. Kansas is at 21.5. We are considered one of the top child suicides in the nation, and we're just going to make it worse with these things. Now, there's also an interesting thing too, because this data breaks out a lot of different ways. That Senate Bill 180 that they're talking about, the bathroom bill, basically, there's a little thing inside there that people aren't talking about. It makes it illegal in Kansas to record any crimes against people other than their biological sex, which means they can no longer record LGBTQIA crimes of hate or anything like that to see if there's a statistical analysis that this group is being out.
There won't even be the stats for it.
There won't even be the stats for it in the state of Kansas. That bill makes it illegal to take that. Yeah. It literally makes it illegal to do.
Wow.
What's this? And where does sexual assaults fall into this? A person is pressured to show their genitals without wanting to, but so we have this whole like consent issue, and then there's like this there's a whole lot of problem with this SB, what is it now, 2238 bill. Now there's, as I said, those are the two that are passed already, and
there are 4 students in the state of Kansas that this year played.
We're attacking just them.
One of them did not play spring sport, so we're down to 3. all 3 of them graduate this year, and we will have 1 in the entire state of Kansas. So this legislation literally was written to target
Just
1
attack
person in the entire state of Kansas, which is just ridiculous. I really think that we need to put more faith back into our teachers, into their administration, into the communities, their doctors, things like that, more so than legislating all these things that are just hate and designed to target and make people hate other people and divide us.
Exactly.
And keep us off.
Yeah, it's just keeping us off kilter. But we need to pay attention to them because these bills are getting passed. They're getting ramrodded right through right now.
Yeah, and
ridiculously.
We saw here in West Virginia, a lot of these same bills were passed in West Virginia. We're seeing these bills go up.
And they're so
in other states. Texas is trying to do the same thing. Right now, the Supreme Court came out and shot down West Virginia and upheld.
Meanwhile,
these
the number one
rights.
killer of kids in America is guns.
Yep.
And we're not actively doing anything. Like, we're not even having a discussion about it.
Yeah.
So there's also SB 12. That one's going to actually remove medical licenses from anybody who participates in gender affirming care. They're calling it the Child Mutilation Act. What else are they doing? Oh, there's a bill out there.
I don't know if this comment was put up before.
Yeah, I did.
Shannon,
I put it up a little bit ago.
Yeah, this is just going to cause life scarring
issues.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
for
speaking of
anybody and
more
everybody
sexual assault, like one of the bills is making it illegal. So if somebody has fully transitioned, then they would go to a female jail. Right now, the basically the people in charge of the jail get to decide on a case-by-case basis where they should go. You should go to the men's prison. You should go to the women's prison. They're going to make it illegal to do anything except for biological sex. What do you think is going to happen to a trans woman when she gets put into a male prison?
Or intersex.
Or intersex, yeah, anything like that. And the thing is, most of these bills don't even truly acknowledge intersex. Some of them added little amendments, but actually one of the amendments is to declare anybody who's intersex, i.e. somebody who is born not fully male, not fully female, which I took both developmental biology and reproductive biology in college. And there's a huge spectrum that people don't even realize that's way more common than people think too, because people don't talk about their genitals all the time. People just don't know, and it's
nothing in
fine,
nature is binary. Everything is a spectrum.
Exactly. And the thing is, so basically they declared being somewhere in between an actual disability now. It's not passed, but that's what one of the bills is trying to do, because they slipped that in there. They're like, well, if this does happen, this is the only time they can do gender affirming surgeries and stuff, is if they don't fall into the A or B category. And also they're automatically declared disabled, because they had to do that, because otherwise why you have to declare them with all the other rules that they're putting into place. Which I know a few that probably would not consider themselves disabled, because they're just functioning just like anybody else. No problems. They have no actual disability situation. No, so we have,
honestly, I wish the conversation was sports in the bathroom. We just do co-ed sports across the board. I think it would be pretty awesome to see women competing with men in the NBA. And I played football with girls.
Women from being
puberty.
Progressive in sports. It used to be like during the Boston Marathon. If you were a blind person, you could have a lead with you to keep you in the marathon, right?
Sure.
And they changed it so that if you were a female, you have to have a female, because they would end up winning because a male was statistically running faster. Well, they didn't know any different. They couldn't see. So they were just keeping the pace, and it kept a faster pace. So they changed the rules, which just shows a long history of systemically holding back women so that men get to maintain this idea that they were superior in every facet of life. But I promise you, if you let the women's leagues play the men's leagues, you would eventually see a women's team win because it's not all about strength. It's not all about speed. It's not about who's bigger. There are other ways to exist and adapt. And if you allow that to happen, it would be amazing to see how we could flourish.
Yeah.
And I think bathrooms, get rid of the urinals. Everything is a stall with a toilet, and you have,
There's
a
a lot
single
of places
person
that have
and
unisex
a
bathrooms.
family or
Just
plus
about every
3
concert
bathrooms. So
venue
we don't have
I've
to add a
been
whole
to
bunch of
recently.
bathrooms.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
You're in a
I mean,
stall,
it's just
nobody's bothering.
It's just we're spending and the fact that we have to sit here and talk about it, I think, is
It's
just
so
horrible.
ridiculous.
These are things that we shouldn't have to be focused on. I wouldn't be focused on if if it wasn't such a high point of hatred in our country, like the Dylan Mulvaney thing. Everybody's pissed off about Bud Light putting her on the can.
I wish
or
I
a
would have
rainbow
thought to
on
buy
the
a Bud
can.
Light before the show.
Oh, I laughed at the TikToker that everyone's like, you realize Coors Light? He's like, he replaced it with Coors.
Yeah.
Like, Coors was like the first
They're-
one to do like anti-discrimination within their company. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, if you're gonna drink, you're gonna have to drink water. If you don't,
Look
want,
at all this product I already bought.
something that's rainbowed, and even water under light and a spectrum is
I
a
saw one
rainbow.
TikToker that was
So you're screwed.
They showed the guy throwing out something and then put it in something else, and then they had like a rainbow version that was already on market of that beer that he replaced it with every time. Like each person picked a different beer.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, here's the Sam Adams rainbow. Oh, here's the Coors rainbow. Oh, here's the
And we
beer
joke
is-
about it, but remember campaigns like this where they're anti. It's like step 9 to having genocide, and
yeah. It's
Yeah.
one of the 10,
Well-
10 4. And the thing is, when you look at that thing of genocide, like people think it's like has to go 1, 2, 3, 4. All it is you just tick enough of them, and you're basically there. And when it comes to trans people, we've ticked quite a few. Here we go.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Wimmy Diddle? I always can never.
The Wimmy Diddle, which is awesome. It's in Scott City
Yeah.
in September
Yeah.
every year.
You know how many women use the men's? Yeah, exactly. Because the line's shorter in the public things. It doesn't matter. People need to go. That's it. They're just going to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
They're in. They're out. I mean,
Right.
I was at a concert at the Cotillion, and I walked into the men's bathroom, and I saw a woman in the men's bathroom using a urinal, of all things. It was the wildest experience I had. It was when I was younger, so it was really mind-blowing when
Yes.
that happened. But you go to bigger cities, you see things like that.
I do have memories, though. I will say that this is a form of gender discrimination, I guess. Because I remember
is.
being a kid when I was little, before I had to start going to the bathroom on my own, I could go in with my mom. And I remember seeing how glorious the women's bathroom was. I saw some that had couches and fancy, and it smelled nice. And then suddenly I had to go to the men's bathroom because I turned 6 or 5 or something. I don't know. And I'm like, oh, this is gross. Does anybody
I don't know.
believe this? The other one's way nicer.
I don't know. I've worked in retail when I was
Some of them
younger,
are just bad
and the
all
women's
around.
bathrooms always seem to be toilet
The
paper
worst.
everywhere. I don't know. It's just crazy how, different the bathrooms were with it. But yeah, I mean,
at the end of the day, all bathrooms
people are dirty. Yeah,
All
people are
bathrooms.
dirty.
I mean, it's a gross place.
People are dirty. Yeah.
Did you
I agree
see
with
how
that.
many people had to be told to wash their hands at the beginning of the pandemic? We're gross.
or how to wash your hands?
I remember in high school, I unfortunately
It's a
did
whole
a
process.
survey, and I sat in the bathroom and just watched and counted how many people wash their hands. I did not hit 20%. Less than 20% of people actually washed their hands when I did that little experiment.
Yeah.
I was like, huh. Alrighty.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think
we got a
can
big
beat
show
that
for
horse.
tonight.
Everybody
Or-
just pay attention. Don't hate. That's all.
Don't hate. Yeah.
I just wanna live.
Let people be. What
I
they do
actually
in their
know-
bedrooms and in the privacy of their
I know
homes is
one-
what they do. Quit
I
being
know
so
one-
focused
yeah.
on it.
And the
Quit
idea
being
that-
so focused on it, you get angry about it.
Actually, here's tying this locally. I do know of at least one trans person who's basically being bullied by their neighbors, so they have to move out because their neighbors just don't like them being trans. They don't like them existing. So there is definite discrimination happening in our community
Oh yeah.
with this.
And our legislators should be making laws to protect them from things like that, not finding new ways
Exactly.
to promote that discrimination.
Yeah, they're just promoting hate, and it's.
These
Honest-
fuckers stayed up
I'll
till 4
say
in the
it every
morning to
time.
talk about that hate.
I will say it every time when you're pushing the hate like that. That's Nazi shit. That is
Can,
Nazi
can we
shit.
play the clip of of the guy literally admitting they gave themselves a raise?
Oh yeah, do we got it?
I put it in there. I
I
got it
don't.
right here.
Oh,
You got it up?
where'd it go?
There's a lot of Kansans that will see 100% reduction in their income tax. Now, it might not be much. It might be $20, $50, a couple $100, depending on where you fall in that range. But we still are creating a significant threshold there, a significant increase that should really help a lot of the lowest income filers. But I want to be truthful. Moving from 525 down to 515 does benefit primarily the upper incomes. With that, Mr. Speaker, I will close and move that.
Whoopsie.
And with that, Mr. Speaker, let's move on. He said that so boldly and so confidently at that point because this is at 11:45. I was getting ready to go to bed.
Yep.
I was getting ready to go to bed.
Hey, everybody, look at all this trans
I was like, state
stuff.
legislature live. That can't be right. It must be like repeat or something. And so I click on, no, they were there at 11:45. I watched till like 12:15, but I'm like, man, I got a life. I got to go to bed.
This was
exactly why they do that shit.
Yep.
This was a tax cut, and I don't know exactly what it's called. Forgive me. Zach sprung this on us. But it essentially raised taxes on middle income and the poor. Mm-hmm. 5% something. I don't know what it was. And then it benefits the top end. There was a tax cut for the top.
It's a brown back.
Everybody will benefit. $20, $50. I get
what have we learned about the
Brownback
tax plan? Oh, obviously.
Jesus.
That works. Yeah, let's just put it back.
It's disgusting what's going on.
Yeah.
They voted to give themselves a pay raise shortly after that. While nobody's watching. And it's so exhausting anyway, trying to keep up with Kansas legislature. They have so many things firing off at once. This has been one of the most insane sessions I have ever witnessed since I've been following politics. Bills are being introduced and gutted and stuffed with old bills that have been shut down. You just can't keep up with what they're doing in the House and the Senate all at once. And there's a lot of confusing things going on. They're trying to be rapid fire. I don't know. There's no clear...
bill that I talked about with the trans prisoners, that actually was just supposed to be a bill about the taxes and how they get paid. And then somebody just slammed in this whole like trans.
They gutted it and they fill it up with all that. That's
they just added. They're like, okay, but we're going to add this little bit.
Kansas
I'll
GOP
just say one of the most
is
egregious things about the trans bill, though, is John Dahl voting for the veto.
The veto on the.
I expected to see
really
better
disappointed.
of him. And
I thought he said that he wasn't going to, but then I re-listened to the thing like 3 times, and actually I realized that he pulled this whole like weird switcheroo, and I listened to the sentence like 10 times, and I'm like, I don't even know which way you're going, and I'm now very closely listening to this because you literally cut your sentence off mid-sentence and then said something else that basically can be taken both ways. But now we know which way.
Conversations with John Dole, and you know, my assessment of it and Zach's assessment of it was pretty much the same. He's gonna say he did it because that's the way the majority of his constituents would vote. But he has a good way of sweet talking. But you know, with him knowing that he is not running for re-election, we thought he'd be a little bit more brave with some of the things that he tells us privately.
I am at least happy with the harsher stuff like the gender affirming care, all that. He did vote against that, but it's rough. It's rough out there.
So, as reported last week, Garden City USD 457 is in the process of reallocating teachers, specialized teachers from departments like ESL, intervention, and other classrooms, science, K through 4 science, and moving them into general education classrooms. Mm-hmm. You know, it was reported by the school district that there was some misinformation out there. And if you watched our live last week, which we hope you watch our lives every week, we were pretty spot on in that live.
The problem wasn't, I mean, we all know that there's a teacher shortage. That's why that apprenticeship program was started in 2019.
Correct.
All that. But like, the problem wasn't what was being said per se. It was how, or that they were doing it. as much as how they did it, how they instructed their
It came
staff.
out of left field. It came out of left field.
But he's like, well, we've been talking about it with the teachers for 4 years.
Well, yeah, let's get
if
to the
that was
video.
the case, then how did we have so many teachers confused? Oh yeah, let's go.
Well, let's get with the video here. But yeah, what the biggest issue was how it came out, how it was broke. Little information. The teachers didn't know. Departments didn't know. Nobody knew this was coming down the pipeline.
They were finding out from us.
They were finding out from us, and we were finding out information as it was slowly being released. And then a district-wide email eventually was forced, yada, yada, yada. So after the fact, and after KSN had reported on it, this was the only address.
And another coincidence that we happened to get a governor visit unannounced the next week. Just
I'm pretty sure
that out there.
It's coincidental.
There are no coincidences.
Good morning. This is episode number 44 of A Minute with Mike. I'm Dr. Mike Dominguez. State assessments are underway at schools across the district. Please take time.
Okay, so we do live stuff. We're in front of the camera all the time. We know how anxious you can be, stressed out, but and from his demeanor, I mean, he does not look comfortable doing this video.
Did you see his intro picture? I've seen grade schoolers make a better fake smile.
I'm not gonna. I personally, I don't like trashing on that. I'd rather go after his content, but he is also very obviously looking at the teleprompter.
Yeah, he's just not engaged. He's not focused. It's just really weird body language. So kind of keep an eye on that as this goes.
Time to encourage your child to put forth their best effort over the coming weeks as we take state assessments. Also,
he's reading from
middle
a
school
teleprompter.
students will present
So that's why
Disney's
the eyes
Beauty
are
and the
red.
Beast Junior at Clifford Hope Auditorium on Friday, April the 14th, and Saturday, April the 15th.
You think he went?
Congratulations to GC Achieve Principal Lucas Sullivan and Victor Ornelas Elementary Principal Tracy Lacker for being selected Region 4 Principals of the Year by the Kansas Principals Association.
Congrats.
If you don't know, now you know there will be no school on Friday, April the 7th and Monday, April the 10th for spring vacation. With the national statewide shortage, USD 547 will be reallocating some staff.
USD 547.
547.
To best suit the needs of students to achieve our board goals and strategic plan at no time.
Board goals and strategic plan. I don't believe our board has discussed this move. Have you guys heard?
I don't believe it's been made public.
I don't.
But they do have a lot of executive sessions, so
They do, so maybe.
Time will any programs be cut or eliminated?
Will any programs be cut or eliminated? So what did we eliminate for those programs, guys?
Technically none, because
staff, qualified, certified staff
so
is what was
set aside,
eliminated from these programs.
And the thing is, now the science is just being replaced with YouTube. That's
we took away the gold. We gave you Pyrex and expected you to think of it as gold.
And the thing is also, like, the SPED teachers are already at their limits, and they're being asked to do split more, just split it more ways.
USD 5 will operate with all the current programs.
Wait. Did he just say USD 5?
USD 5 will operate.
We've had USD 547 and USD
5.
Let me roll that back just a little further. I didn't catch it. I didn't catch
that
before.
The first time listening to this.
Yeah.
Achieve our board goals and strategic plan. At no time will any programs be cut or eliminated. USD 5 will operate with.
He did just USD 5 and moved on.
What in the world?
All the current programs and staffing and we have with current staff.
Do you think he's even sure of that? He's just not even sure what district he's in.
Honestly,
students who are at risk.
Yeah. The main issue is the guy. Maybe he could have done better in a smaller district, but he's jumping from basically a district that was the size of one of our schools, and now he's jumping into this one. From my understanding, he just was way more qualified for like a principal level
like
or a lower administrator in our district. But man,
and those objectives weren't a part of USD 547's plans.
Okay. USD 5, the fifth one. Do you think maybe that suggests his video is heavily edited?
I'm not seeing much edits, but he's.
I don't know, but I mean, USD 5.
It's not edited. He's just misreading.
Because even if it was edited, there would have been a 7 after that.
But he's reading from a piece of paper, correct?
Yeah, he is now. Now it's not the teleprompter. You can see where his eyes move.
Right. So he's reading from a prepared statement. Who wrote the statement?
Which, I mean, like, you can see when I'm looking at my
Who
notes,
reviewed this video and put it out on a district website?
Blink twice if you are a hostage.
Yeah. That's funny.
Risk and participate in second language programs will still have support through interventions, and students will have their science class.
Okay, so they will still have support for the intervention. So what's going on there is interventions is going to happen in the general ed classroom. So you're going to have our teachers teaching a class subject and then expect the kids that may know it, should know it, maybe they do know it, go off onto their own. And then we're going to focus on this other.
The problem is the teacher has to
who
do
benefits
both.
from that?
The problem is that the teacher is now doing both, because now you have the interventionist as the teacher trying to run the 20 to 30 kids while also doing intervention with 5 to 10 of the kids, because they're probably going to concentrate them in their class.
Right.
As you said, this benefits benefits the kids who
it doesn't benefit. It does benefit my kid, right? Because they'll have a certified teacher there. But we're going to be taking that one-on-one, that personal time, maybe that extra that my kid could have and receive, because that teacher's going to be pulled away doing intervention in the classroom. So it does not benefit any of the children. It doesn't benefit the teachers.
As we said,
it's making it harder. We're going to see our test scores drop.
That the whole problem is there's lack of teachers. But pulling this crap is what's going to cause teachers to leave more. I know of at least 30 teachers that have started looking since last week. Mm-hmm. That's a ridiculous amount.
There's probably more.
Yeah, there's probably more in the wings, and there's a number of reasons why it's happening. This guy's
and another big issue that the teachers had with this was brought up after the retirement, early retirement point, I believe, which was March 15th. They can still retire but March 15th they could have retired without penalty. And so this comes after that.
Now they have to do
he didn't even give
what they did.
He didn't even give some of the teachers that are tenured, have been here for 40 years, the opportunity to say, no, I don't want to go back to the classroom.
I'm watching this video and I'm seeing a person very passionate and cares immensely about the children and the teachers, and I don't know what you guys are watching.
And the one other thing is, like, if he wanted this to work, one thing that he could have done is, instead of just shoving it down everybody's throat the way he's going to do it, he could have at least made a couple committees of the teaching and the other staff to discuss, and maybe with a few more heads in the room, particularly the ones that are actually involved with having to do this, they could have come up with an alternative that might have been more efficient.
One of the reasons I wanted the video that played at the top of the show, we played a video of a young lady, Bethany Bernal, I believe Melanie Bernal, at the top of the show. And the reason I wanted to play that video, I mean, she made a very strong point about where the students are in her school. Is the larger point is, this girl is a student and she is a member of that school board. So there is a direct line from the students to the school board and administration occurring in that district. And what a wonderful idea. On its own. But yes, he should have had the students, particularly ESL or the special education department, the teachers there, and then intervention, some of the ones that really benefit from that in these conversations. How's this going to look for you?
But they had that. Yeah, Shannon's talking about, they had that 4 years of data. Still want to see the notes and stuff from the data. Yeah, like.
The strategic plan, and then the board of education.
This might have been
there were reports.
It was one that was going to need to be discussed before just shoving it on people and expect them to be happy.
There were reports that at least one board member had asked Dr. Dominguez for this plan for a long time, because there may have been an RFI infraction the way we understand it. If he would have been reducing the number of teachers, which he essentially is, because if they can't find the long-term subs to fill these positions,
we got 30 seconds left. Let's play the rest of it real quick, because I think that might answer some of this what you just talked about right there.
Go ahead. Oh,
you have the power.
I have the power.
As they have this year. As always, we are working to provide an engaging, enriching, empowering education for all stakeholders. USD 457 will increase literacy across all content areas through engaging students, enriched text where they will be able to write and discuss high-level topics. Check out our website at gckschools.com.
Yeah.
What is
the main thing was
he
said
has
that
been episode number 4.
He says that it will happen. He says something that was very specific. That at this time, we're not planning on doing anything at this time. So even then, they still might be just ditching everything into the wind.
Well, the plan is they're going to give them training. These substitutes, long-term subs, they're going to give them the training for these types of the positions that they're going to need to fill. But so with the RFI, what the question there was is if there was a reduction in force, then he would have to run that.
What I'm talking about is the last sentence he said.
School board. Well, let me finish. The reduction in force, then the school board would be able to step in. But since he's just reallocating the staff, he doesn't have to involve anybody in the district, and it's a decision for him to make.
Yeah, but then he also makes the promise that he specifically makes a statement that basically there is no guarantee that those will be there next year. They are technically there now because of the reduction in force, but he makes a statement that, well, at this time.
Yeah, at this time. So, I mean, his plan is that these certified teachers are just going to pick this up and add it to their already full plates on relearning a whole job, basically.
The thing is, most of these jobs that he's pulling them out of, they were magnets. So if we have teachers leaving because the magnet job that they brought them here in the first place is no longer doing it. We have teachers leaving, honestly, because they're attacking, the board and a few other groups have been attacking LGBTQIA+, and some of these teachers fall into those categories, and they don't feel safe in our community anymore. I've heard multiple
even the display policy that's been thrown around,
which is the whole reason for that is because of rainbows. It all started because of rainbows and pride, and so they're trying. Yeah, no, it's 100% that. That's the only ones that are being attacked with it. Like the other people are seeing it and going, "Oh, but my religion, I like to put my cross there." The only ones that have actually been,
which is super ironic,
are
because
rainbows.
Didn't God give the people rainbows as a promise to not flood the world again?
And then a whole bunch of them just feeling disrespected by the board currently and the current leadership by Dominguez, which I will say, what is it? There is that whole rumor that there is a plan of assistance.
Maybe misinformation.
Yes. Well, it's a rumor right now. We don't have any confirmation, and things like this are hard to find out about anyway. But
because these are the types of conversation. These are the types of conversations that happen in executive session.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is a plan of assistance. So a plan of assistance, I understand this from when I worked with the city. It would be a personnel improvement plan. Basically, someone's not quite hitting the mark, so you come up with this plan and like, okay, we have this, and you set deadlines and things like that. Now, the thing I'm in my brief research, so if anybody's out there wants to correct me on what the heck a plan of assistance is for teachers, because this is a legal term, actually. There's actual legal stuff in Kansas law discussing how it's done. Usually it's done with a new hire teacher. I could not find any information on when it's used on a superintendent, but it also, now added to the rumor mill, Dominguez is fighting this plan of assistance, because if he doesn't fulfill it, then that could be grounds for, I believe that could be grounds for termination
and get out of his contract, which is massive for an early buyout.
If he's screwing up so bad that the board is going, okay, yeah, we need to get something on board, then maybe they see it. But then, but I believe the other part of that rumor is that he's fighting it because the board was late on his evaluation. So
what? So he's just grasping at straws at this point.
Yeah. That's not how life works.
But the thing is, in a normal PIP, if I was doing a PIP with the city when I was in management, a personnel improvement plan, then like I have no say. Like if it's what's happening to me, I don't have say. One's happening to an employee below me, they don't have say. It's going to happen. Like you have to fulfill it. Now the thing is, this is weird because the plan of assistance is some weird legal thing that I don't fully. I'm not even going to pretend like I fully understand it because I've only got an afternoon of research on it. So as I said, if anybody knows more, put it in the comments. But that. So maybe he does have a grounds. I don't know with that whole evaluation contract.
It's going to be a really weird.
So weird.
It's going to be a really weird couple of months coming up, I think. Especially as the openings.
It's going to affect
on the board.
The school district for 5 to 10 years.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What's happening right now?
I think this board got more than they bargained for. It's certainly the 3 that more recently elected to it. Some of the ones that have been appointed there, I think they're just kind of
5 openings next time, right?
There will be 5 openings.
So everybody put their hats in the ring.
Everybody put your hats in the ring. I don't think we're going to see some of them rerun. I know Naniga's not. I know Stanley's not. Rude is not. And then the other 2 are
Jennifer.
Andy Farmer and
Jennifer Stanley's also up.
And
I mentioned her.
As a Republican, you only really have to get 10% of the people you talk to vote for you.
Oh, Rothstein's position. I believe Andy Rothstein's position.
Oh yeah, because he came in interim, so he has to go again. Yep.
So the only 2 that are staying are WeC and Jackie Gidget, which were part of the Power 3 that ran the last time. And but I don't think they're going to run again either. I think they're kind of backing down.
I would love to go through a whole meeting without them going, basically touting some ultra conservative Fox Newsy rhetoric on the teachers that are just trying to do it. Like this is just standard education. Like what was the last one? It was social and emotional learning, because they were just like, we got this program. This is the program we decided because it also implements a very nice. Woke. Yeah, exactly. He's like, well, tell us what that is. It's like, it's making kids understand that when they have dodgeball and they get hit with a ball, they don't have to throw a tantrum. That's all social emotional learning is. Dear God, have you done a PE class? No. I think I might have actually taken that exact example from the teacher that was in there. That's all it is, except I just put more emotion about it. They kept their composure very well. Like they're professionals.
That's why we let teachers do it, because they can keep their composure.
They know what they're doing. Why do we need to?
To add, there are a couple other rumors that are out there that I'd like to suggest. I know there have been a couple of quota requests that are out there that haven't been fulfilled so far, as the contingency fund plan that we have and the disbursements out of that program. And then some credit card statements from our previous superintendent and the one that Mike Dominguez carries now. I believe there's a core request out there for that from a group of people. So I would like to, there's going to be some things that come down the pipeline that we are keeping an eye on. Guys, before we end up the show tonight, Zach, do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to throw out?
No, I want to thank everybody that joined us tonight. I appreciate all of you. We've got more coming. It doesn't stop. Like I feel
we thought we could take a break.
I feel like when we start, this is what, episode 26, 27 now.
26, yeah.
26, and I thought
almost
when we
a year.
This, I was like, it's Garden City, Kansas, and Southwest Kansas. We're gonna run out of topics before we even begin, and every single week we're arguing over what topics we are going to put in and what topics we're going to leave out.
Oh,
and so
we have a whole bottom of
show is cake. Yeah. And as always, I will leave you with Troy Unner. You need to resign.
If only it could be so simple that we could just argue about what type of grass seed to plant in our yards.
or the water park and how,
yes.
or
Water.
improvements to the city or Gunsmoke
yeah.
sessions going on in Dodge City in a couple of weeks.
Forgot
We got
that we know why the heritage is being foreclosed on and being condemned.
We're going to hang on to that though. We want you to come back next week.
Here's an event from Shannon. Free community baby shower this weekend. Basically from 10 to 2 at the 4-H building. You can, if you have babies and you want to get your car seat checked, learn good sleeping habits, stuff like that. That sounds like
awesome.
That's
huge.
That's helpful for the community. I know lots of people that can use that help.
That's right next door to the 3i exhibition building. Yeah. There is an event. Yeah. If you could, Shannon, if you would, if you have it there, throw it up on our page in the comment section. We appreciate you watching. Whitney, final thoughts for tonight?
Can we just leave the genitals alone? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And we could go on and on and on and on about how horrible that is and how sick and tired people are about hearing it. We want you guys to focus on, thank you, Shannon. The link for that event is in there.
Click it on
again for your baby shower.
Yeah,
I think people are tired of listening to things that really don't matter, and we want things like education and healthcare and legalization. We want to quit putting people in for-profit prison systems. We want people that rape people to spend life in jail and not get out in 6 months. And somebody caught with a dime bag of weed get life in prison. We don't want to see that kind of injustice in our world. So that's why we're here, to talk about the things that are just stupid and to help make things make sense, to get us all back on the right path and maybe hopefully bridge that divide. We thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Like, share, comment, subscribe, give us the angry face, give us a love, do all the wonderful things. We will see you next week.
Thank you for being true believers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.